Hello, welcome back to From Soft Serve. Today y'all need to do me a favor. I need to rant a bit. I need to rant about the Sony 30th anniversary thank you trailer they put out. Because as you know, very recently I put out a video saying Sony won't remaster Bloodborne, but I will. Which obviously, if anyone, knows the channel and has been here a while, you know that not everything I say is literal, and also a lot of the stream titles or video titles will be tongue-in-cheek, right? And obviously what I meant by that was they have not remastered it yet. I didn't mean they won't ever, because then I would have said that, I guess, in that case. Like, I don't know. But the reason why I'm prefacing with that is that the 30th anniversary trailer from Sony, which I will show a clip of, editor soft serve, which is also me. I'll put in some memes. This is going to be a different format video where we're going to use meme format. We're going to just play Bloodborne as I'm talking, because I can't imagine anything more perfect than talking about the future plans of Bloodborne without playing Bloodborne on PC. So I started a new character, and the challenge is to talk even slightly coherently while I'm playing this game. Oh, I should have absolutely hit his ass. Okay. Oh, well, okay. I mean, that's a butt slap if I've ever seen one, right? Oh, that's a visceral opportunity. Oh, wow. Okay, I accept that. So yeah, they put out their 30th anniversary trailer, and it's all fairly normal. I'll link it below. It's great. It uses the Dream song by Cranberries, which I love that band, and I love a lot of their music, and so they picked a perfect one. They slowed it down, and you get about midway through, and you see Demon Souls. And you're like, okay, it's the remake, it's not the OG. I would very much prefer, and I think if you're going to talk about the 30th anniversary and legacy, you should have used the original Demon Souls. But such is life, I get it, that's fine. I like that it still got a call out, because I do think it's important to their history in 2009 when the original came out. And the remake, which was fantastic. And then, okay, we're watching it, and you get to the end, and this is where I was going, are they not going to mention Bloodborne? Is Bloodborne not going to be made? Because that's what they normally have done for the last 10 years, where anytime there's an opportunity, they could list some of the most popular PlayStation games, or if they have people vote on what is your favorite PlayStation game, they commonly just leave Bloodborne out of it, because I'm assuming they overthink it, and if they mention it, it's bad. If they don't mention it, it's bad. So they just figure it's less bad to not mention Bloodborne, because otherwise everyone will start writing 500,000 articles of oh my god, they're going to remaster it. And so they just leave it out of all these social media type things and marketing. And then, it could be because Sony has different versions or, wings of their company of PlayStation. There's the European have their own accounts, and I'm assuming the Asia ones have their own accounts. And so what is interesting is we got to the end of this trailer, and they put up the screenshot, which I'll put up on the screen. They show it's a screenshot from a promotional commercial that they had for Bloodborne back around when it came out. And it looks awesome, and it's the Cleric Beast, and it says persistence. And this is where we get into talking about, because it's all about this image. And I say up front that, is it massive copium? Yeah, of course it is. But I actually think I think this is significant. And hear me out. I've seen a lot of the internet look at this image and go, this is just Sony trolling us Bloodborne fans, right? I don't buy that, actually. And I think for multiple reasons. Partially that I've worked at a company I've worked at a corporation. I've worked at a large one. And when I tell you that the amount of approvals that this had to go through to make it on this trailer, and I promise you, with all of my hunter's heart or whatever the fuck I have in this fucking weird ass game, I assure you that deeps and when they were shown and what was shown was absolutely gone over so many times and went through so many people and was approved. So they picked Bloodborne for their last game on their 30th anniversary trailer. And I know people would downplay that, but I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think that's a big fucking deal. I'm not saying that confirms like a remaster or something, but that, come on, that's huge. And then to choose the wording persistence, you could have chosen anything. So many other words is blood or overcoming, or is adversity. I mean, there just could have been so many other things. And while I'm talking here, I can't come up with a great amount of them, but you get the point. Persistence specifically. I mean, come on. If that isn't dual meaning, I'll show you the tweet I put up when this came out. I was a little bit late. People had just been making this image on their own until I watched the trailer. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'll put up the tweet because this is a dual meaning. The persistence of Bloodborne players, and of course the persistence you have in a Souls game, obviously, to overcome challenges. But I was watching Maximilian Dude, his reaction to it last night, and I totally agree with him that he was like, you know what? This is too on the nose. This is too on the nose. This, for it to be absolutely nothing. To end it with Bloodborne, and to specifically say that word. No, you would have to be the most of all time, and I know there are people right now typing in the comments going, yeah, but Sony is the most tone deaf. And it's like, yeah, I don't actually agree with that. I mean, that's fine. We can agree to disagree on that. But Sony likes money more than Microsoft. Sony loves exclusives. Their business model is very clear. Sell consoles and make money from that, and make money from the exclusive games you have on that console. Like their structure is not difficult to understand, and they're also not the kind and cuddly, friendly company. They don't have a Phil Spencer. They don't have a friendly person who's out there talking all the time and talking about the games he's playing. And, like, that's not them. And I think they're very intentional. I think they're willing to remaster anything. As we've seen, they remaster, I mean, Last of Us, they're going to, who knows, they're probably going to remaster God of War 2018 soon. Like, but my point is, they're very intentional, they love remastering things, and they will pick anything from their back catalog to remaster. So, of course, your question would be, well, then why haven't they touched Bloodborne yet? You know, that's a good question. I think part of it is they wanted to wait until, because it had been this long, and they did have new leadership take over after Jim Ryan left. Now that was, I think, last year or the year before that. So in terms of that, does that make as much sense? But going back to the screenshot that was at the end of the trailer, that, I see no way that that's trolling Bloodborne players, like intentionally. That Sony's like, haha, we're gonna mess with them. Because we have to think about it logically. Is there any material benefit for them doing that? What do they get out of trolling Bloodborne players? They have a fan base that loves the game, that would love to pay them money for anything. Anything. And they could make... So to troll those people is antithetical to that. And as any company, if you work for any company, you know the first goal is to make money. So the amount of approvals that this had to go through, you're telling me this went through a bajillion people, different departments, higher-ups, and they approved this solely to troll Bloodborne players? I don't buy it. That doesn't make any logical sense. I understand that you can get angry on the internet and be like, oh yeah, they just don't care about us. Nah, I don't buy that. That doesn't, like, I think if you have to go down to human behavior there, that doesn't make any logical sense. They're not going to do that. And I also think that's the really cynical approach, which as Bloodborne players, we're up there with the Hollow Knight Silksong people, but the Bloodborne people have been waiting longer, so I get being cynical. But I also think we just have to look at human behavior, and it's common sense. They're just not going to piss off all the people who love Bloodborne, because from what we've heard from talking, when they've talked to PlayStation executives or like off the record sometimes, they actually do love Bloodborne. Sony executives are not like, oh my god, we hate it. No, they love it. They loved it. Can you imagine how happy Sony was when Elden Ring did incredibly well? They can say, we are the only we are the only person who owns 2 From Software IPs. Like, you have to be giddy, right? Now, have they capitalized on that? No. I would, but obviously games take a long time, and if they had plans for the 10th anniversary, just because Elden Ring did well in 2022 doesn't mean they're immediately going to go the next week, here is a Bloodborne remaster or something. Like, that's not how it works. They had Demon's Souls Remake in 2020. So basically what I'm saying is, I think, and I'm willing to put a bet on this. I'm going to put I'm not going to put my money where my mouth is, but I'm going to put something where my mouth is. And I know that, clip that out. I would like y'all to come up with some sort of punishment for me if I'm wrong. And here's the parameters, okay? The parameters are, if we get to Bloodborne's 10th anniversary day, and that day passes, so we're on the next day, and nothing has been announced. And now what I'm talking about, like, we're not talking about a keychain collection, we're not talking about Funko Pops, we're talking about a legit, here's what we're doing with Bloodborne. Either a patch, a next-gen whatever the fuck, a remaster, a remake, something. I'll even take not like definite plans, but like, we hear you, and we do have a future plan for Bloodborne, which we will tell you TDB or something, like, or TBD. I don't know why TDB, I'm thinking of The Office. So I'll even take that, a more generalized thing, because I think we will. So I'm going out on a limb, and I know it's Bloodbornium. I'm going to put that meme up there. These are also reminders to me to put them up there. And look, I could be wrong, but I want you guys to come up with like a punishment. Not like shaving my head, because I already did that during the pandemic. There's some From Soft Serve lore. I looked like a skinhead. It was pretty bad. Okay, well, like, what are we doing here, guy? Oh, fuck. Okay, I actually was not confident in that parry. Okay, well, just fucking kill me. Yeah, he got me. So yeah, I think we're gonna get something. Now, if I was a betting man, and then, to be fair, this is a terrible bet, and I would lose my house and I would lose everything. I think at Game Awards, I think we get something, which is on December 10th, right? And that's because Jeff is close with From Software. Now, of course, this is Bloodborne, and Sony owns Bloodborne, but because From Software loves Bloodborne so much, and Miyazaki specifically, I think that could be included. Plus, Jeff, of course, has a close relationship with Sony. I mean, he has a close relationship with a lot, but he has a close relationship with both Miyazaki, FromSoft, and Sony. So if you're going to do it, and with the 10th anniversary being in March, so you're going to announce it prior to that, that's kind of where I think something. But the real bet is going to be if March passes, if the March date passes, and nothing is announced other than just like, hey, thank you for 10 years, big dogs. Like, if that's it, then, like, I give up. And then maybe we never get anything. But I think there's going to be something. So I want you guys to come up with some sort of, like, punishment. Like, play a game I fucking hate. Like, ask me what game I hate. And I'm trying to think of, like, right now, what would I hate playing? I love all the Souls games, so that's hard. Maybe if I play Lords of the Fallen, the newer one, and try to beat that, maybe that'll be the punishment, because I'm at a point where I just really don't like playing the game that much. We'll come up with something. But yeah, that's my evidence. I think something's cooking, because there's just no reason why you would do that in your 30th anniversary trailer if you had zero plans for Bloodborne. And also, as we can, if we go back to like the business angle of it, there's no downside to doing something with Bloodborne. There isn't. There just legit isn't. It's guaranteed money. It's guaranteed success. I mean, unless you absolutely destroy the game by remaking it in a horrible way, which, once again, I know there are people in the comments that will be typing right now that Blue Point ruined Demon's Souls, which I don't agree with. There were a lot of artistic changes I didn't like, but they kept the essence of Demon's Souls is there. Like, when you're playing it, it feels like Demon's Souls. And it obviously is the best, I think it's the best looking game of all time still. Even like 4 years later, it looks fucking amazing. It's insane. So I don't think they ruined it. But my ideal situation is a remaster, not a remake, because I think the original, as obviously what I'm doing here, with this mod, I think the original is good enough in asset quality, and I also love how it is as is. So I don't want it to be changed. But if Blue Point did end up doing the remake or something, I wouldn't be mad. Just let me still play the original if, for whatever reason, because I still would. But the remake, like, I'll admit, that's pretty hot. That's going to be the best looking game of all time. Like, if Demon's Souls was prior to that, the remake, the Bloodborne remake, are you kidding me? That'd be absolutely insane. 4 years newer tech for them and techniques, absolutely. So, there's no downside for Sony to do something with Bloodborne. There just isn't. The only thing is, why haven't they done a patch? That's a question that comes up a lot. And that is, I think, pretty simple to explain in that there's no money in that. Like, I think the people who have bought Bloodborne aren't going to... Like, they've already bought Bloodborne. And I guess new players? Yeah, I guess you would get some new Bloodborne sales. But that money would be so paltry compared to actually doing a real remaster and selling that for like $70. It's not even comparable, the amount of money that you would gain from that. So that's where I think there's no money in that. Now, as to why they never did a PS patch, that is a larger question, because it doesn't make any sense. At that point, it wouldn't have been a money thing. They were upgrading lots of games for PS4 Pro. Not to mention, Bloodborne literally came out in 2015, and PS4 Pro came out in 2016. I think late 2016. So it would have been the perfect candidate for a 4K upgrade, right? Using checkerboarding or whatever, as they did for loads of games. Now, why didn't it get that? I legit have no idea. Japan Studio was obviously still a thing at that point. They hadn't closed that down until the pandemic. They had the manpower. I don't know. That's one that we just legit don't have an answer for. But like a PS5 Pro patch, that makes sense to me, why they didn't do that. Or a PS5 patch, because there's no money in that. And then, other thinking could be, why would they do it on the 8th anniversary when they could do it on the 10th anniversary? Would that be more special? Yeah. And obviously with Elden Ring being... maybe they did have earlier plans for it. But when Elden Ring came out and absolutely conquered the entire world, I'm sure that if they had something planned or already done or whatever, they would have been like, okay, well, let's wait a little bit. Let's let this cook. And then, of course, with the DLC, too. Because right now, Souls games are more popular than they've ever been. They're at their absolute zenith of popularity. So if you're going to do something... you're going to put out a game that not everyone has played, but everyone has played Elden Ring, right? So you immediately get all the Elden Ring people to try this out because it's from software, and a lot of people consider it their best. But it was only exclusive to the PS4, and ran at 30, and yada, 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 right? And that's where, yeah, it's the perfect... I think we're at like a certain nexus point. Now, here's the other thing that people have been talking about. Also, I realize I've been rambling for 20 minutes. This is just a rant session at you guys. You're being my camp counselor here. Let me rant into the void. Let me know your guys' thoughts, but like I have to talk about it. The other thing is that sort of rumor of like, oh my god, they're doing Bloodborne maintenance or like server maintenance around the time of Game Awards or whatever. Yeah, I mean that doesn't mean anything because they do maintenance on all kinds of things or at different times, and they've done Bloodborne maintenance before. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, I'd love to be wrong, but like that's one where I didn't see the connection because I'm like, that's that's not anything. And then they point to the date that's on the trailer, but I'm like, no, that's their 30th anniversary is what that date was basically, referring to. As far as I could tell, it wasn't like Bloodborne specific or anything because it just happened to coincide with the maintenance. And I think that was on the 3rd, so nothing happened. Like it was just fucking maintenance. And I believe it's Sony who does the maintenance for Bloodborne because obviously they own that IP. Because if it was FromSoft, I'd be like, that's even less likely. Because FromSoft, I think it was earlier this year, they did maintenance on vanilla DS2 servers that like 3 people are playing, me included. So like that specifically means nothing. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think that was significant. I think that 30th anniversary trailer, I think that moment ending on Bloodborne, and you had all of these other games, massive games, Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Metal Gear Solid. The amount of PlayStation games for their 30 years that they referenced, and they ended on Bloodborne, that fucking matters. I know it in my bones. And look, I'm going to be wrong come March probably. But I want to believe, and I want to keep the faith. And I don't know. My spidey sense is telling me, look, human behavior is making me think that means something. That is too on the nose for Sony to just go, we were just fucking with y'all. Or the alternative is, oh shit, yeah, I guess I could see how they would all react to like that. Huh, that's weird. That would be like if one guy in a room was the one who was deciding what was in the trailer, when that is just not true. It's absolutely a gargantuan marketing department. And the amount of approvals that this went through, as I was talking about earlier, there's so many things that had to go through for it to be that way. And as I was also talking about earlier, the different like regions, like sometimes it could be a regional thing where they'd have specifically, the Europe PlayStation, might have their own trailer that comes out for something else, or and because they have their own Twitter accounts and all that. But this was the overall global PlayStation that chose Bloodborne of all of their games to end their trailer. I know I've said it like 500 million times, but that just keeps rolling around in my head. I think that's a bigger deal than some people are making it out to be. Like, that's not nothing for a company to do that. And specifically Sony, who has rarely ever mentioned that Bloodborne exists. Ever. And then when they do, they put it there, and then they use that word. I don't think that's nothing. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now because I've been ranting for so long and I have to edit it, which really is just going to be this B-roll footage of me playing. And then I'm going to put memes up. So expect SpongeBob, expect The Office, and expect that Always Sunny in Philadelphia picture of what's-his-face, and he's like going through a conspiracy theory, because that's probably where I'm at realistically. But I don't think it's too far-fetched. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Because I am curious, and come up with a punishment, because I want to put something on this. If March passes and nothing happens, and, I'll be sad, but I also like, maybe it's a 10-hour stream of something, or that I don't like. Or I have to play Bloodborne without leveling up. Or something Souls-related, probably, just because it'd be more fun, and that's, like, what I'm known. Like some sort of challenge run that I'm not going to like DS2 without leveling ADP. Now we're talking. It could be something Bloodborne specific, because obviously it is Bloodborne related what we're talking about. But yeah, let me know. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video.